with Ryan and Dianna Muller, a husband and wife pro shooting team. The thing I find kind of interesting is the dynamic that occurred. You are the one that really was the shooter first.
I was. When my husband met me, he was a plastics engineer at an aerospace company, and he had no interest in shooting competitively, didn't even really know what it was. So he would rather be in the hunting field.
It's a place I grew up. I'm always comfortable there. I grew up like a lot of kids do with a Ruger 1022, trekking around the woods, shooting at absolutely anything that moved or a lot of things that didn't. And that was my background, so it was really a natural transition into going from a farm kid with a 22 into sports, throughout high school, into competitive shooting after meeting her.
So what do you shoot? What competition?
The sport that we shoot mostly is three-gun, which is rifles, pistols, and shotguns, running around with your hair on fire, trying to be as fast and accurate as you can possibly be.
And so what's new you got going on?
Well, this year, every 3 years, they have an IPSC has a world pistol or a world shotgun or a world rifle match. So they rotate. So this year is the world shotgun match, and I'm going to be going with the ladies team. We're the returning gold medal team, and we're looking forward to going to France in June to represent the United States. It's really a neat experience because it's as close to an Olympic style feel that we're going to get for our sport.
Yeah, now three-gun we have a big three-gun group at the club that I run. It's really popular. It's a great event. So you got involved, or started, I guess, a thing called the DC Project.
Yes.
That's a very interesting thing. Let's talk a little about that.
Well, Ryan and I were actually with the Mitchellicks, first family of shooting.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we were between matches close to DC, and we try to go do touristy things when we're out and about, live life and do things that other people would do on the weekend.
Normal
We do in the middle of the week so we can shoot on the weekends. So we're in DC. I have a friend. She says, "Do you want to meet a congressman?" And I was like, "Sure." We didn't care. It was like what you do in DC. But it was during that meeting that I kind of had a light bulb moment, and I said, "Is there something that we should be doing as professional shooters to reach out to legislators for education, for liaisons, for just to educate them?" And this was a pretty easy conversation because we're from Oklahoma and my congressman owns a rifle company. So it's not like I'm sitting in Feinstein's
that
office.
makes it simpler, right?
Yeah, it was. But he really encouraged me. He was like, "Yeah, that sounds like something you should do." So I started thinking about that and wondering if I could, as a citizen, go into my congressman's office and shake their hand. I knew I couldn't go into Feinstein's office because I'm not from California. So I started gathering one woman from every state and organizing a bunch of us. So I'm really proud of the girls that come to DC once a year. We meet with our legislators. We break up into small groups. We kind of treat it like a match. We break up into squads. We have a squad mom, and they go in small groups and tell their legislators the stories of the different states that go into that. So somebody may have a hunter, somebody may have a military, somebody may be a Democrat that's a liberal gun club from California. We've got both sides of the aisle. It's a nonpartisan educational effort, and just want to make them like us. We don't come in with heavy asks. We just want to shake their hand and smile and say, "What can we do for you?" And anybody can do that. And really, they would rather do that back home than in DC. They have federal stuff when they go there, but they spend a lot of time back in their home states at their own offices there. So it would be easy for you, if you didn't want to go to DC, it would be easy for you to do that. And we just, for the first year, this is our third year, and for the first year, we actually started a GoFundMe to try to offset some expenses. We have a rally. Yeah, we have a rally that it's super expensive to rent a PA system in DC, probably because it's a little racket. But we have a lot of admin costs, and I would like to offset some of the costs for the girls right now. This is completely grassroots. They can't say that anybody's sending us. It's just that the Second Amendment means that much to us that we're going to invest from our lives back into helping them realize what makes us tick.
Well, and you're doing something that I have long thought was important. I see you're wearing camouflage.
Yeah.
Talk about why the significance of that.
You tell them.
We see a big correlation between the shooting sports and the hunting sports. And usually if you've got someone who's into hunting, they're into guns, they don't really know a lot about competition. If they tried it, they may like it. And vice versa. So we just want people to be exposed a little bit to other parts of the shooting industry, and maybe they like it and maybe they don't. We just want to be supportive. So if you're hunting and maybe your kid doesn't necessarily get into hunting, try shooting sports. Or if you're into shooting sports and your kid doesn't like it, get him into hunting. Let him see where he might go. Anything that promotes the shooting sports in our mind is a positive deal. And I really think that there's something to the crossing over between the two. You look at different OEMs, her sponsor Benelli in particular, is they are taking the innovations that are driven from competition. It's more of a high-speed sport than hunting is, and they're taking those and putting them into hunting. So you look at even the Benelli Ethos, for instance. It still has the classy look of a Benelli, but they're going to take and they're going to add a flared bolt charging handle. They're going to add a larger bolt release. They're going to chamfer out the loading port. Those things that are coming from competition that have a really good place in hunting. So if we can find a way to benefit one or both of either one of those things, that's what we're trying to do. So we're working really hard on getting us in front of hunting and getting hunters. I've invited people out to my own personal farm to do some hunting, a little bit of competition practice. Just exposure is what we're all about.
Well, and hunting have seasons, and competition doesn't have any seasons. So if your gun is sitting there idle for months on end, that's going to give you something to do. And plus, from the industry standpoint, if we can engage a very small percentage of hunters, it's a huge population. If we can engage them, they're going to want to, if they get hooked on competition, which is really easy to do, they're going to buy more guns, more ammo, more gear, and drive sales. And then they're going to be able to speak to their neighbor about, well, if you don't like to hunt, there are other things that you can do with a firearm. It's a very family. You mentioned the husband and wife thing. This is a very family friendly. I mean, who wants to go watch soccer? Seriously, who wants to go watch your kid play soccer? The whole family sits there while one plays soccer for 2 hours. This is something that everybody in the family can do.
Well, I've been running a youth camp for kids 10 to 16. This will be our 20th year. And I would say, look, it's one weekend. Your son or daughter is going to come for one weekend and learn to shoot. And they'd say, well, they have softball practice. I go, let me ask you a question. How many families, when the father's 70 years old, are playing softball with their son or daughter? I said, you get into shooting and hunting sports, you will do this. This will be something you'll share for the rest of your lives.
Right.
And that really is true. It's a family type of thing.
So we just hope that this shirt will attract a hunter's attention that may not otherwise look at a jersey, a shooting jersey, and say, maybe that's something I can look into.
Sure. Yep. No, that's great. Now, you also have a pretty strong tie into National Shooting Sports Foundation.
Yes, we enjoy the partnership with NSSF. We really believe in their message. They have so many great programs. The Project Child Safe.
That's something we're really excited. I really enjoy the Project Child Safe. We don't even have kids, but I think that really focuses on something that is very important, especially in the nation right now, is whether or not you have kids or not, whether or not you're having family over, how you store your guns, the outlay of your house is in relation to weapons. So I think that's very important.
And I love that. National Shooting Sports Foundation, NRA, all of us gun people are the ones that are really putting proactive measures into place to actually make a difference.
Right.
Making another gun illegal or magazine capacity, that's not going to help protect anybody. Putting safes, what's the little lock?
The trigger locks.
The trigger locks.
Yeah.
Putting trigger locks in people's hands and encouraging responsible gun ownership. I mean, that's something that NSSF is driven to do, and it's just
Well, the gun industry is actively promoting safety,
right,
as opposed to promoting useless policy change like a lot of the anti-groups are doing so.
So if someone wants to get involved, what do they do?
Well, that's one thing that NSSF.org can provide you. They have a tab that says where to shoot, and if you are unfamiliar with your area and what ranges are available, check that out. Again, it's NSSF.org. Where to shoot, and if you are shooting, you can use the hashtag Let's Go Shooting.
Great. Brian, Diana, thank you so much for being with us. And for SHOT Show TV, I'm David Lomardo.